And that will be preceded by a something about hating Max.
Holy shit, this is the first time my stream status ever said good. We gotta go. And here we...
I like the name of the stream.
You already know. That's what we the Henny Cool Brothers. And we are live, ladies and germs. What is going down? You already know what it is. It's been a long fucking time. 4 months, actually, until I've actually hosted another Henny Cool Brothers. I know my brother's been banned from YouTube, so it's been a while since we could all do what we really wanted to do. But we are back. You're in one half of the Henny Cool Brothers here, your boy Prototype VErgo. And the other half is...
Well, one, you're not live. You are not live.
This guy is just awful.
Yo,
no,
so
you are not live.
We're not live.
I am on your page, bro.
I'm on the page.
Literally watching the page right now.
It still says 2 minutes and 17 seconds before it starts.
So if I hit live,
it's not live.
Does that.
So that's 3 niggas saying you're not live.
You have the wrong encoder.
It's literally telling me I'm live. You can't
okay,
have
now
the
you're
wrong
live.
encoder.
Now you're live.
Now
that was a huge delay.
Anyway. Hi,
Get into the first topic.
What's going on? It's your friendly neighborhood black guys. The Henny Cool Brothers here. What's poppin'? It's your boy Prototype VErgo, one half of the Henny Cool. We are back after a long-awaited hiatus. But we in this out here. My other half, my boy JD, talk to the folks.
Yo, what's up? It's the Don, it's the Godfather, it's the future Hall of Famer, JD Legend here. How you guys doing? We're finally back. It's been forever. VErgo, you took your time, but we finally here. Finally.
Yeah, I did take my time, but hey, man. Perfection, and patience is a virtue.
Agreed.
You were definitely going with a different thing to start with there, and you couldn't remember it, and you just derailed it.
Sage, actually, I was going to say all that shit again.
So this is what we're doing.
I was going to repeat that shit verbatim. No.
If you were a real host.
All right, so guys, let's reel this in, and we're gonna introduce our guest. Starting off with obviously the Miss Wonderful Seastone Sage. How are you doing, Sage? How are you feeling?
Oh, hi. How's it going? I'm Sage. I flit around the place. I think a lot of people have probably heard my voice. It's all good. It's all love.
And then we have our sister, Miss Sierra. Sierra, how you feeling, Sierrathegoat?
Hello. Hi, I'm Sierrathegoat. I'm got a lot of shit going on around me right now, but I'm here. Listening. I'm here.
Glad you.
But I'll be muting a lot. Because it's just noisy. But I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Of course, we appreciate you. And then we have another first-time guest, my boy. You know him well from the Gloves Off series, my boy Sensei LeGlove. Welcome to the Henny Cool Brothers, my boy.
Yo, man, what's cracking, man? It's your boy Sensei LeGlove, the bald head black anime nerd. Action niggas, man, for some much needed niggatry. So, yeah, man, I'm here.
I mean, we always appreciate that for sure.
And then we have finally the Lord, the Emperor himself, the King of One Piece, Drizzt, the theorist. Drizzt.
Greetings.
Lord Drizzt in the world.
Salutations. Yo.
All right.
Perfect.
But we took so long. We didn't mean to waste your time like that. I will take the blame for that one, even though it's obviously not my fault. But it's fine. But I said we should get right into the topics. Jay, I believe you had something you wanted to start us off with first.
Well, first, let's start off with the initial thoughts from all the guests of the chapter from 980. So we'll start off with how we introduced Sage. What were your initial thoughts of the chapter that we just received?
I mean, initially, I was like, this is a bit frustrating. And now I'm like, this is really frustrating.
Talk.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good girl.
Did you just say add a girl?
Add a girl?
Don't worry about what I said.
Did you just say add a girl?
Yeah, just leave him alone.
Like,
just let him rock. So what was it that was frustrating for you?
Okay, so what was frustrating was, like, obviously we go into the classic Luffy's ignoring anything he's ever been told, Zoro making it even worse while telling him off. which was like there were a lot of gags and stuff like that, and not really a lot of like genuine interesting things that happened. Like the interesting thing that happened for me was right at the end of the chapter when Kid starts to look into taking his revenge against Apu. Like that was like, yeah, that's the meat, that's what I want. But that was like the last bit, because the other bit was obviously Luffy and Zoro getting their asses like handed to them by Apu, which is just, I've said this before. I know why Ada did it. Ada did it because he doesn't have any other characters in the vicinity that we understand the scale of very well to showcase Apu. So I get it, but it doesn't make me happy.
That's fair. Okay,
that's super fair. It's her.
No, that's 100% fair. Sierra, what were your initial thoughts of the chapter?
So my initial thoughts were pretty much like Sage's. Like I was very frustrated with Zoro getting slashed by Apu. Like it was nice to see Apu shine because he is a supernova. I know he's a strong character, but like. They could have he could have done it a different way. Like, why Luffy and Zoro? And why have Luffy pass out only for seconds later to get right back up? Like, that was annoying to me. And I was like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of all that? Like, it was a total action chapter, which, okay, cool. But it was like bad action. The last bit, just like Sage said, that was probably the best part for me.
Interesting. Okay, I don't think I've heard you talk negatively about One Piece before. So okay.
I usually don't. That's why I was like surprised.
I'm proud of you.
Y'all not be digging the chapter that much. Like, if both of y'all were to give that a rating, what would y'all rate it out of 10?
I rated it a 6. No, a 5. I think. I rated it a 5.
Okay,
which is low for me. Like low for me.
Wow. Sage, what about you?
I didn't. Yeah, probably about the same. Let's be realistic.
Drizzt.
Okay.
It's crazy. Drizzt, didn't you give this chapter a 6?
I gave it a 6 because of memes.
Drizzt is a proud man today. I can tell. He's smiling. I know he is. I
actually am smiling.
I know Drizzt is smiling today.
Yo, team strikes again.
Sensei, my man.
The glove.
Yo, what's up, man?
What were your thoughts on this chapter?
I actually enjoyed it. I do agree that the hypest part of the chapter was Kid, getting on his own side shit with Apu that I've been waiting on. But I didn't really care too much whether or not, the little antics of Luffy and Zoro getting fucked up, quote unquote. It didn't really affect me too much just because, I've gotten accustomed to shit like that at this point. I was just happy that shit was actually starting to happen. The funny thing is, like, I felt like I was pondering with myself off not this chapter that just dropped, the last chapter when Luffy got mad. I'm like, well, this is technically part of the plan, right? They're supposed to start a ruckus while everybody else is doing what the fuck they're supposed to do. So in my mind, I'm like, well, Luffy never follows the plan. So what if he fuck around and don't do shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he doesn't attack and spaz out? But obviously, this is Luffy, so it went the way that we expected it to go. As far as Apu, I mean, I'm happy that they let Apu shine, or they let him get his shine in, or whatever. I won't say at the expense of Zoro and Luffy, but it is what it is. At the expense of Zoro and Luffy. Okay, Zoro and Luffy's perception, I guess. But I'm more so excited to learn. I really do want to learn more about like how his powers work, especially in tandem with like hockey and shit. Because how does that really work? So I'm excited for like that to be explained. If it's off screen, then I'll have a much harsher review of this chapter.
Word, and I'm glad you said. I'm gonna expand upon the expensive Zoro and Luffy thing, but let's move on to Drizzt. Drizzt?
Oh, indeed.
What were your initial thoughts on the chapter, dude?
As someone who no longer has faith in Oda to bring out any form of quality in his writing, this chapter is basically the standard, or the new standard, which is to say below average. So it was basically hitting the mark of what the previous 70 chapters have been.
Wow.
Tell us how you really feel about Drizzt.
Okay.
You never cease to amaze me.
A little bit, not what I was expecting. I thought you were going to be a little less harsh, but you know what? Fuck it. All right.
I do give it a thumbs up for the Apu memes. Greatly appreciated, Oda. Thank you.
You giving it a thumbs up for what random niggas do?
And listen, bro. Everybody appreciates a good meme.
Well, I can't give it a thumbs up for anything else.
That's crazy, bro.
It is what it is. So, VErgo, what were your initial thoughts?
Man, as I was saying, piggybacking off of what Sensei was saying, like at the expense of Luffy and Zoro, I think it's okay to do it at the expense of Luffy and Zoro, solely because we know that he wouldn't actually take them out. They're Luffy and Zoro, right? And regardless of how much flack the Zoro fans are getting or Luffy fans are getting, they're gonna bounce back because they are hitters. They're our guys. They're gonna come back with it. So I mean, you know, I'm like, okay, let Apu get a little bit of shine against some strong ass dudes. So people look at before this, people were saying, you know, it went Bonnie at the bottom, Capone, and then Apu. And now they're just like, Apu top 3 and shit. Like, it's hilarious. Like, and like Drizzt said, the memes are to die for. Like, they're top tier. I thoroughly enjoyed the chapter. I enjoyed trolling Zoro fans. I honestly enjoy trolling any fans. Anyone that knows me. It's not just the Zoro fans. Anyone can get it. Equality hands. But
yes, sir.
It was great.
So my initial thoughts of the chapter, and I mean, if we're talking about initial thoughts, my initial thoughts were same as Drizzt. The memes, I was only here for that. I didn't really analyze the chapter at all when I first read it. I kind of just read it through, and the moment Zoro got slashed, everything kind of went down a tunnel, and I was just like, all right, it's time for me to be
tunnel vision.
And I just went insane. And this is gonna be a topic. We're definitely gonna be talking about what constitutes as an L, what isn't an L, and things like that. But for me,
I can't wait for that.
First thing that came to my mind was Zoro took a heavy L, and it's an L that I've been waiting for a very, very long time. And I'll expand on that once we get to our next segment.
We'll get there.
Which, I don't know, VErgo, if you want to get to the next segment now. It's up to you, because we can.
Fuck it. Let's rock.
So, the next segment, and this is a new segment that we're going to start doing. Me and VErgo are going to alternate on this, but Cap of the Week.
Cap of the Week.
Cap of the Week.
This is a segment where we go through maybe our Twitter interactions, for example, and we figure out what is the biggest cap that you believe that you've seen. And as a result of this chapter, I've been presented after my tirade on Zoro taking an L in this latest chapter that Zoro stands are not the culprits for the ongoing feud between Zoro stands and Sanji stands. Well, one, sir, I want to tell you right now to this camera, that's cap. I'm gonna tell you why that's cap. Me, I was a noble man at one time. I came on the anime Twitter and I was vibing, right? We was talking about Zoro, Sanji, all that stuff. And I started talking about Sanji. And that's when I started seeing Sanji slander. That's when I started seeing the Sanji leg break memes. This is when I started seeing the Sanji being dressed as a transsexual meme. That's when I started seeing that.
That's canon.
And they were and it is canon. And they were destroying Sanji at the expense of Zoro. So for me, at first, I was like, why are you bullying Sanji so much? Let's slow down. It's not that crazy. Like, Sanji's still a good character. Like, no, Sanji's trash. He needs to apologize to his captain. He's a horrible character. All crazy things that I've ever heard. So to me, I got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore because I saw it day in and day out. And I was a small account then. I was vibing. So then I decided it's time to fight back. What happened is that there wasn't a coalition of Sanji stands fighting the coalition of Zoro stands. So when I created my own coalition, that's when the feud really started. That's when it was every single day. It's on site. And I told him, I said, listen, you've done this. I said, you created me. I didn't do this on purpose. Zoro stands, you did this to me. And what you've done is you've taken my integrity and you've thrown it in the trash. And now no longer will I have any sort of integrity in regards to your arguments or any of you whatsoever. So I just want you to know you did this and you will suffer the consequences. And God forbid, if Zoro does not kill Kaido, I pray to God that you delete Twitter before I get you.
Bro, who are you talking to?
Wait, so where's the cap in this? I don't understand. Where's the story going?
So the cap
is that Zoro's going to kill Kaido.
The cap is that Zoro stands believe they're not responsible for this when they actually are. That's the cap.
So I don't think you understood his statement, Drizzt. what he's saying basically is they're blaming Sanji stands for this war between them.
Okay. I agree with the captain.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, VErgo.
Because they definitely came with the heat. And me, I shit on both of them. Sanji and Zoro can get it. It don't matter. Like I want Emma to break, and I want Sanji's leg to be like limp. All right, so it doesn't matter to me personally. But I see the BS on both sides. Straight up all the time. And I mean, like, even it's funny. Like even with kid fans, some of them are a little rough because they got slandered for the last 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden, Kid smacks Apu, and now they're just like, you know what? Kid's the GOAT. Kid Supernova top 1. Luffy fell, but Kid hit him with the Punk Gibson. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? what are y'all doing? Like,
bro, that's the toxic side of like the One Piece community.
And anime Twitter is very toxic in general.
It is, bro. I got infected, bro. I have to say it. I got infected. I'm not ashamed to say it. Now it is what it is. Now they hate me. It's like, oh, Jay, you need to stop dividing the community. I'm like
that shit literally means nothing. Like that shit.
That's not. It means nothing to me now because you watched the Sanji fans get slaughtered. So when I fight back, now I'm the problem. Okay, you guys allowed this to happen. So whose fault is it? It's yours. It's not mine. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, but hold on. But now that you've begun to fight back, what did you say that you're kind of just still trying to push the war, even though some may not? Because VErgo fans, Zoro fans were quiet for a little bit, but you come out of nowhere like, hey, what's good, Zoro fans, you bitch ass? I'm like, yo, Jay,
now, see, so here's the explanation behind this. See, there's something called foreshadowing, right?
Okay.
And I told the Zoro stands in this moment, I told this specifically to Fiji and Quietly.
Okay.
Specifically those two.
Okay, names.
I said,
I like the name drop.
If I ever catch an
name
inkling,
drop.
I'm talking about the smallest example of a possible L, even if it's 0.3%. I will rip you to shreds.
0.3% of an L.
A word.
We gonna get that. We gonna get that. We gonna get that.
We
gonna get that. I got you.
It would be anything, but I'm saying, if I catch an L, just know what's coming. And I told him, and I held it in. I even went on Brago's stream, and Brago even told Matt, I don't think you can calm Jay down. Like, Brago knows. He saw it. He said, Jay is just not going to stop. I know this is going to happen. So he just let it go. So when it happened. And now all my anger and rage is gone. It's gone now, and I'm vibing. I'm just relaxing.
Until next week.
So, like I said before, that I mean, that's just how it is, VErgo. That's how it is.
No, I feel that.
Yo, VErgo, I got a question for you, B.
But as for the rest of you, I know you guys are all on Twitter. What is some of the wildest things you've seen being debated, which don't really seem to have that much validity?
Me.
Well, one thing is that Apu is stronger than Zoro. That's cap.
But is it though?
So there might be some debate there. I'm not here to argue. There might be some debate there.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, Serena, there really is, honey. There really is.
She put out the H word, honey. My word.
Shut up.
No, but there is. Like, it's annoying because, like, I don't want there to be, like, I want Zoro to be stronger than Apu, and the reason I want Zoro to be stronger than Apu is because he needs to take down somebody significant so that the fans are happy.
Fuck the fans, like fuck these fans.
Fuck
Jesus
these fans.
Christ.
I've just been saying that for a while.
You said you've been saying
Yo,
that?
Drizzt, chill.
You said Otis been saying that for a while?
Yeah.
But see, the funny thing, Drizzt G, if he was only pandering to the fans, you would find something else to be mad about.
It depends on how bad the writing was.
It would be bad. You hear what the fuck fans are saying? Do you hear what if Oda made Zoro kill Kaido? What the fuck is One Piece? What is One Piece?
I
thought it was.
What I thought it was. Oh no.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, if the fans got what they wanted every single time, what the fuck is?
Well, there's a difference between fans and the
that, G.
I'm not saying fans that believe that, but to say like to pull all fans into one category.
No, but I mean that's not. I'm nowhere near trying to do that. But I'm saying if a vast majority of fans had one agenda that they wanted pushed, got pushed by Oda because a vast majority of fans wanted this agenda pushed, like what would this show be? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying. At this point, with that killing Kaido agenda, it's not even about the writing anymore. I've even talked to people who are in that movement, and they don't care.
They don't care if it happens. They just want to move the agenda.
No, they don't. They don't care if it's like done in a satisfying way. The only thing they care about now is their beefs online on forums and videos.
Bro. Get the fuck out of the community. If that's your
No. Here's the thing, though. Understand this. This is a very common occurrence at this point. This happens in virtually every arc. Whenever there's like a major headcanon idea that becomes really popular, is that it no longer becomes about what that idea means for the story. It's more about being right. So as another example in this arc, there's actually two. One is the Kamazo being killer stuff. That was a theory that started out, and people just wanted to know if they were right. And same with the traitor thing. No one actually cared who it was. They just wanted to know if they were right. That's kind of like the nature of theories in general. Once you start doing theories,
that is the thing.
It's more about clout than about.
Oh
story.
wow! Satsuki
Fuck that
though. In the chat. Satsuki said people have to incorporate trollish details into their debates now because One Piece fans will use any details to slander a character. These niggas will use the cup noodle commercial as a source of. It's a fact.
As a source, yes,
that's true.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
That is a fact.
That is a fact, bro.
One Piece debates are compromised so often now.
Like, oh my god, Akainu fought Admiral Suck. Akainu fought Jozu over some ramen.
It's sickening, bro. Literally sickening, bro. Like it pains me to even read the shit because I feel like the niggas like me, and I don't know how many niggas like me there are that just kind of enjoy One Piece for what it is. Obviously, you have your critical moments. You have like your critical moments where it's like, that could have been done better. I wish you would have written it this way. But like as far as like trying to this constant war of let me slander this character because I know there's an agenda about it on the internet. Let me big up this character because I know there's an agenda about it on the internet. Like I'm not that guy. I just like who I like and I like what I like. Like you know what I'm saying? And that's
it.
Like,
same.
I don't need I have no reason to slander Sanji just because I like Zora.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
True.
Like well hold on.
Yeah. I love when they have their moments
of
shining, you know.
Exactly.
I love it.
I love Sanji moments, bro. Like Mr. fucking Prince, like him showing up and saving Usopp and him sneaking on the train. Like that nigga cold. Like he's cold. Like I want him to get all the shine in the world. I want every straw hat to shine, bro.
Hat, yeah.
You know, to shine,
my retort to that is
except Chopper.
Like, I don't know. I feel like some people just really want to push their agenda so bad that at that point they don't understand that Oda in actuality does not give a shit about power scaling, like someone said in the chat. Power scaling means nothing to Oda. Nothing.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
We do it because it's fun. We enjoy it.
Yeah, and I get that
conversation,
it's fun, but don't be toxic. Like it's okay for us to speculate and have conversations, but there's no need for us to be toxic.
If these characters aren't shown clearly stronger in the story, there's nothing. There's actually no factual evidence we have to support what we say.
At all.
Nothing. There never is. Bro. There never is.
I had somebody tell me I was arguing with somebody in BDA, right? And I was like, yo, so you think Luffy's the greatest, right? Can Luffy beat Blackbeard right now? He's like, yeah, it's Haki Bloom. I'm like, okay.
Oh my lord.
And that shit too. What
you
the
got
fuck?
It, my guy.
Niggas be saying anything, G.
Anything,
oh my god, bro.
He's like, yeah, Luffy's top one in the verse. He's the Pirate King, Annie. I was like, all right, bro, you got it.
Boa Hancock is stronger than Kizaru. I've heard that.
Well, I feel like every story,
every
anime needs some form of power scaling, you know? But Oda's power scaling is it's so vast and everywhere. Like, he's got some vice admirals, like, super shitty to, like, Garp level, you know? Like, and so his power scaling is, like, everywhere. That's why it's always fun to talk about and debate. But I feel like, I don't know. I like it. I don't know.
I mean, and that's why we developed the word toxic, because
it just gets toxic sometimes.
It is just toxic.
Bro, and that's the thing. And we actually talked about this on one of my streams. before. Like when talking about power scale, it's like I would not to say that I don't think that One Piece has the best power system or anything like that, but like I would take power scaling conversations minus the toxicity of One Piece over like Dragon Ball Z, just because it's so much more.
So
that
you
we
say
have
that
to even
you say
about.
that, but you don't enter some of the group chats that me and Jay.
But that's what I say. I say minus the toxicity. Minus the toxicity.
You don't enter some of the group chats that me and Jay enter, where some of these folks are literally talking about how much Doriki Big Mom has.
Doriki,
what?
Doriki, my guy.
Some people don't even remember.
Are we in Henny's lobby? Doriki?
Is that number? That one number?
Yeah, it's it was only used once, and that was with the CP0 CP9.
That was hype though. Jay. Like when in that moment when we learned that, I was like, "Oh my god, they're so strong!" And then, but I just went beyond.
I'm happy that he like let that shit go.
And then you're like,
it was so easy. It's so easy to like that for that to get out of hand because now you're like, if you're not the type of person that's going to constantly keep up with the numbers. Then don't you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Why?
Even with Dragon Ball Z, bro, I haven't cared since he said that Goku was over 9,000.
Honestly, when he broke the fucking scouter,
that's the last time I had cared.
Literally, G. When he broke the scatter, it was like whatever.
Well, one thing you can say though is Dragon Ball Z's power scaling is pretty consistent. Dragon Ball Z.
How?
Because think about it. You always had a villain that was stronger than the other villain. Always. So you had Cell, you had Frieza, facts. Perfect Cell, and team. You never had to question who was stronger than who. We always knew Goku was stronger than Vegeta. We always knew Vegeta was never going to beat Cell unless he turned into that Super Vegeta, right? And then once he went to Perfect Cell, he started clapping everybody, and you realize, oh, now you got to go a level beyond Super Vegeta. That's consistency. And it's Dragon Ball Z, which something.
So how do you explain Gohan? How do you?
I was gonna say
Trunks?
Gohan.
How do you?
He got a little bit.
Well, listen. So actually, with Trunks is pretty cool because when Trunks went crazy, there was actually a reason why. Even though he had the power, he was so big that he couldn't hit Cell. So it was just like they made sense of that power scaling in a sense where you sacrifice your speed for power, and that's why you lose to Cell. With Gohan, it was always foreshadowed that he had this anger within him that would take him to new heights.
But how do you explain the different variations of Boo?
Okay, Gohan was trash after that.
I mean, Boo's a little different. Boo's when it gets a little wacky, but don't get me wrong, all right?
I can understand the levels of
power scaling in every series really gets crazy all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, except for Hunter x Hunter. You know what I'm saying?
You think so?
I don't think Hunter x Hunter gets crazy. And this is the only take I have about the wildest shit that I've seen in Hunter x Hunter as far as the ninja system.
I got something to say about Hunter x Hunter too. After you,
my only complaint is that, and it's not really a complaint; it's just a concern. So we understand that you can it's two things. You can put a condition on your nin to make you as strong as you want to be at any moment at the expense of your nin. Fine.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine. Right?
Contract, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, when someone does that, is it only possible through something that isn't really tangible? So in Gon's case, you have to have Pito or Killer, one of them spoke that you have to have the what's the word that they use all the time in anime? The resolve, right? The resolve to do some shit like that.
Yeah.
So am I to believe that Pito doesn't have the resolve to do the same? Knowing that her life and the king's life is on the line. Why would Pito not have the resolve?
But she kind of did.
Like men get stronger after Dr. Blythe went crazy, and
that shit is crazy. Like that shit is even crazy.
Dr. Blythe
because at what point does Nin not be Nin?
Kurapika had basically I'm OP versus the spiders.
Yeah, he was invincible. Yeah. No, what I was gonna say. So basically, like what I was gonna say was what you said. Like anyone in Hunter x Hunter, as long as they know the Nen and their resolve, they can be as strong as like some of the strongest guys.
There's no limiter.
Exactly.
There's no limits.
So
really.
That is the same thing where when I think about DBZ's power scaling, that's what I think about. Like that resolve. Like it really boils down to, am I emotional enough to get stronger right now? You see what I'm saying? Obviously, DBZ doesn't really have as many drawbacks as Hunter x Hunter has, which is the difference here. But when your show relies so much on, all of this resolve, and I'm emotional right now because my friend just get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see that shit.
I would see that no more.
Dragon Ball Z, I feel, is like a less thinking type of anime. It's more like it's such an easy power skill. Like you said, the next villain's always stronger. It's just you can turn off. You don't have to think about it as much.
So that we can be at their level now, and then the fight's gonna be kind of like head and head. But then the villain gets an edge, kills somebody. Now I'm mad. Now I'm stronger.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the meatheads anime, bro. It is.
Honestly.
Also, you're lagging.
Yeah, I see. I'm in the mix of
lagging so much, bro. I bet we good.
All right. So while VErgo's fixing that, we can go on to the next topic. Unless anybody else like Sage, Drizzt, did you guys have anything to add on
That's
the
a whole dog.
Sorry, let me mute.
I want to hear.
That's funny.
This man. Let's move along, Jay.
Okay.
No. Go ahead. All right, you got something.
Oh, yeah. Like, is it just wild shit we've seen on Twitter, or does it have to be cap?
I mean, no. Let us know. Let the streets know.
Oh, mate, have you seen the video of the woman and her dog?
What you mean?
Whoa.
Oh, when she was trying to like say, like, I'm
yeah.
Wait, I'm not aware of this.
Lost her dog, and been banned from Central Park.
Dude, tell
and she lost her job.
I'm sorry.
And she lost her dog. Yeah,
she lost her
job and her dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took her job.
Yeah, no. So that situation in itself, I mean, we've heard that story thousands of times, but to get it on tape is just kind of funny. The only thing that it's disgusting behavior. The only thing that I get worried about with these videos is we don't really get to see what happened beforehand. And that is where you'll find a lot of this stuff on the internet is people will just kind of post the thing that will get the biggest reaction, but they won't post the entire context of the situation. And that's what happened with the Doja Cat apology. Yeah, he's lagging again.
I know. I'm literally fixing it.
Okay.
My fault, guys.
With the Doja Cat apology, we only got like a 40-second snippet of it. And
what did she say? Because a lot of people been going crazy, and I don't know what the fuck is happening right now.
Well, I don't want to go too far.
Okay.
But it's basically they showed just a single part of the apology that didn't look good at all, and then when you actually watch the entire apology, it's actually a different perspective that you would get if you had seen the whole thing. So that's my only issue with the fact that I always have to think, what am I not seeing? It's because it's just I've been pessimistic. I've been fooled before. The only thing is that in that situation, no matter what happened beforehand, her reaction was wrong.
Yeah.
In every circumstance, she was just out of pocket. And what really stuck out to me was when she mentioned there is an African American threatening me. And she mentioned that first over and over again, as if her saying that he's an African American would warrant the answer and response that she wants, which means she knew what that could do. Yeah. And that's what really concerned me. I really hated that video. I hated it.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
That's crazy. I didn't see it, but I did see it trending. That was like the Karen or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like something was trending with Karen or something. I could not like watch the videos that were trending anymore. Like I was like sad about what happened to that guy. It was sad.
Yeah.
No,
I haven't watched the guy's video because like I've seen too many of these videos now where it's like
it's disgusting.
And it's like yeah. I'm glad it's getting media attention because like without it things won't change. But it is like genuinely something that like makes me cry sometimes. Like I had quite a big cry on the phone to like one of the people I'm talking to at the moment. Like we just had a heart-to-heart about the whole thing, and like I was just sobbing.
Yeah, it's depressing, and it's sad that it keeps happening over and over again. Like, what is the issue? Why isn't it being fixed? Like, why are Black people literally being killed with no repercussions or whatever from these police officers.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic now. It's a hot topic now, and I mean, let's that we can save that for another discussion because then it'll turn into because now we're getting. I don't want us to get depressed, but let's get toxic. Okay,
let's get toxic.
So,
I am here for the toxicity.
The next subject and question, VErgo,
slap the shit out me. Let's go.
The next question is: what would you classify as an L? And this is specifically with One Piece, and you can use examples as well. I know Drizzt has a plethora of Sanji examples, so I won't let him go. But let's start off with Sensei. What would you classify as an L in One Piece to you, and then maybe give an example?
That's tough, G. Like, I mean, I feel like Luffy is probably the easiest case for me to determine what an L is because he loses the most out of everybody. But I mean, because I don't really pay too much attention to like the little itty bitty like nuanced moments. Like a nigga getting hit by another nigga isn't an L. Like somebody fighting and then you crack a bone or some shit like that isn't an L. Somebody getting snuck up on and put to sleep isn't an L. Debatable. That's probably the closest thing to an L. Like actually losing consciousness or losing a fight outright, like even if it's like stages to a fight. If you lose stage 1 of a fight, that is an L. To me. That doesn't mean that you lost a fight, but it's an L. If you lost stage 1 of the fight. Yeah, it's not a good look. But as far as that, and I'm glad you said good look. As far as good look for me, at the end of the day, I really want to know if you can and will defeat this opponent. Or can and will overcome whatever circumstances are placed in front of you. So, in the case of...
If not, check your route.
Basically, if in the case of Zoro, and because I feel like I see this a lot. Zoro and the what's them cool brother niggas?
Yeti
cool, bro.
The name of the stream you're on is a play on that.
Yeah. I know it is. I know I couldn't. I literally just read that shit in my reread, but whatever. Them shooting like sleep gas, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, they got low diff by the Yeti Cool brothers. It's like, did they? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I mean, it's kind of an L just because
I feel the
Caesar
exact
caught
opposite.
Everybody else off guard and took away all their air. That's an L.
But right, but so wait, so like, and that's what's crazy. When you move to Luffy, now it's all right. So Luffy caught an L against Caesar because Caesar used the move he didn't expect for him to use, and he lost. Fair. That's
the same situation as this Apu hit on Luffy, though.
Exactly, and I agree. Sure. But I'm not. But what I'm saying is Luffy's not out. Like the same way he passes out for a second and wakes back up. The same thing as him losing air for a second and then I bet now you just caught me off guard with that round 2. We actually.
It wasn't for a second, bro. He put this nigga in jail.
He did put the nigga in jail, but what I'm saying is,
wait,
the fight.
I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going right now, dog.
Stages to these fights, like in One Piece specific. You asking One Piece specifically. One Piece has stages to these shits. Like it's so like it's never just one and done. The only one and done shit I can remember is what fucking what's that nigga name with the spring legs? Yes.
Oh shit.
Bellamy is really the only one and done situation. The rest be this happens and then I'm out of the fight for a second and then I'm back in the fight and then like.
So we're not gonna give him an L for these things?
Why? For what?
I'm confused on your position Sensei. Because you agreed with us on what an L was in the chapters, agreed. And then you said no.
No, so I don't really know. If we want to talk about this chapter,
Sensei,
I promise
hold up.
I don't think them niggas getting cut or smacked by fucking Apu is an L, bro.
That is.
Let me talk to you real quick, bro. Do you agree with the philosophy of I've lost the battle but I've won the war?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then what did you do to the battle? You lost it, right?
Yeah, question mark?
That's an L.
Bro.
you gotta concede, bro.
Because you I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not wrong. You're right. But I feel like, all right, if I had
over the top with it, absolutely.
If I had to break it down to its simplest form, that would be the best way to explain it. Like if you fall unconscious for, I guess, a considerable amount of time, you've lost that battle. Therefore, it is an L.
So that's extreme, bros. So let me tell you some of the extremes of the L's that I don't agree with. They were talking about in Whiskey Peak, Nami outdrank Zoro. So L on Zoro. What?
I mean,
that's cap. It means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. I agree with that. It means nothing.
Do we think that them getting captured by Mr. 3 is an L?
Zoro almost cut off his legs.
If he would have cut off his legs just to
if you get captured by Mr. 3, that might be an L for real.
That might be an L.
Why is that an L? Why is that an L?
Because Mr. 3 is ass, nigga. What do you mean?
Was he ass then?
No, he's good.
I mean, then.
You didn't get one shot by Luffy.
I mean, like something small.
Wait, I just want to explain what an L means to me. So to me, I see an L as any form of he gets knocked down. So Luffy getting beat up by Apu or blown up, that's an L. Zoro got slashed, that's an L for me. Caesar Clown knocking out Luffy, L. Crocodile stabbing Luffy through the chest, that's an L.
That's a major
super L.
Those like any small amount of defeat is a loss, and the other guy takes the W. But you can definitely come back. Of course, Luffy comes back with the end.
You can lose the battle, but win the war.
So that's how I see it.
Is Sanji's leg cracking an L?
Yes. Hell yeah!
No,
how?
Because he got up and
pass
out.
Oh my gosh!
He was still fucking fighting.
Yeah, he was still fighting.
I'm only saying yes because I'm pushing an agenda.
Now, before I get into my definition, Sage, what is your definition of an L?
Oh, mine's pretty simple. Like, if you have to run away and you have no choice but to run away, that's an L. And if you pass out, that's an L.
Pass out, run away, L's, G. If you just get hit, nigga, you fighting, bro.
You getting hit, and
you're fighting.
You're still up, and you still trying to do your best. That's fine,
bro. I don't give a fuck how tired you are after that hit.
Zoro had a whole ass scythe in his chest, and I don't even really consider that an L.
No, it's not. He was still fighting. And
then he used Purgatory Onigiri. That's not an L.
And then he passed out.
Depending on the severity of the L,
he won the fight.
Has a lot.
He won the fight and then passed out. Luffy wins every.
It's the same way with Mr. One.
Let's let them finish
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sage, you were definitely you had something else to add after your definition.
No, I totally didn't. That was I'm good.
Oh, that was it. And then Sierra, you about to mention something?
Just saying it depends on the severity of the L. Like the Caesar Clown Luffy L, that was like a small L. Like it could be little to big. Bellamy's L was big. Like it was like one hit because he was trash talking, and that was a good L. So it's like it depends. It ranges. The L's.
It ranges.
So
they range.
So Sage,
no, I agree. I'm not saying he was wrong.
So Sage, based on your definition of an L, would you classify in the situation where Sanji had to run away specifically because the poison gas was catching up with them? Would you still consider that an L?
No.
No.
I didn't ask you, bro.
No, it's just based on her definition. Yeah.
No, but the poison gas isn't a combatant. It's just like an area factor, isn't it? So like it's not quite the same. Like you have to lose to someone. You can't lose to
the situation. Yeah.
Now, would you classify Sanji losing to VErgo in that exchange?
Did he have to run away? He did, didn't he?
Well, and that's why I mentioned the poison gas. So he actually had to run away because the G5 and Tashigi escaped, and the poison gas was closing it.
I actually got a question, Jenny.
Yeah.
So after that exchange, Sanji made mention of like if that fight would have gone on. Right. What is that? Does that then change your perception of that?
I think that's ambiguous, but I feel like he was alluding towards a negative statement.
It was alluding towards a negative statement and possibly even an extreme diff fight. Now, my issue is that one, Sanji is showing reverence and respect for the strength of VErgo. VErgo is no slouch by any means. If Sanji were to fight VErgo, I genuinely believe it would have been an extreme diff fight.
I agree.
So I don't
Extreme diff, yeah.
But who wins?
Sanji would have lost.
That's what I'm saying. But who wins?
Well, here's the thing. In an extreme diff fight, I consider that 50-50 in general. If you're in an extreme diff fight, it's always
that means you're both taking yourself both to the highest capabilities that you can.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So then for me,
I can dig it.
It's not a foregone conclusion that he would have lost, but I think it's more because think about it for an example. Luffy is very headstrong and he believed he could have beaten Crocodile, right? Crocodile killed this man twice. Okay?
Basically.
But Luffy still beat Crocodile. Allegedly.
Cap.
Allegedly.
That's why I added allegedly, right? That was an extreme diff fight. Now, look at Zoro versus Das Bones. Zoro knew he couldn't cut steel. He knew it. Yeah. So if Zoro says, I don't know if I can cut steel, does that mean Das Bones is going to whoop his ass? We don't know because they fought and then he eventually got the Haki Bloom and beat Das Bones. So when people use that panel to try and say Sanji would have got clapped by VErgo, you have to admit that, one, Oda would write it in a way where Sanji would win anyway, if they fought. Did Zoro have any? Did Zoro have any reason to beat Das Bones or cut steel out of nowhere?
No.
Was it foreshadowed in any sense?
No.
Okay, but it happened because he got a Haki Bloom. That was a Haki Bloom in that moment.
Wait, wasn't it foreshadowed when he was in the dojo with his sensei? Didn't he say?
Yeah, it was a flashback within the fight.
But it's not.
It was never foreshadowed. So this is my point. So again, if you're talking about straight up power scaling without the plot, it's possible that VErgo could have beaten Sanji. But my point is that it would have gone to an extreme diff, and that is something that I feel like we can say safely that it would have gone to an extreme diff.
Yeah, and so I feel like throughout the community it gets really misconstrued because I feel like at any point where anything negative happens to you, period, is considered an L.
And that's cap, bro.
So Drizzt, before I go into my definition of an L, what is your definition of an L?
Oh, I'm allowed to talk?
Yes, Drizzt, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of hard to give one definition because, as I agree, I think Sierra said this. There's layers to what an L can and cannot be, and it's a lot different when you're in the community as to what an L is. So, if you want to go at the base definition, L could go to any loss in any way, shape, or form. Generally speaking, though, as far as L's are concerned, the most important ones are the ones where it is portrayed in a negative light through the writing. An event, something is portrayed in a negative light. I don't really care. Sometimes we know that Oda is not consistent with his power scaling to any degree because then he would have to write the story completely differently to justify it. So a lot of the times things come down to portrayal and what Oda is willing to do in the moment. So there are many things within the story that are considered an L because, one, we never see a definitive end, and a lot of times many characters are written to bad situations. So those are the ones I usually care about, but an L can be a lot of things. Go ahead, Jay.
So I just wanted to ask another question. Example of what you would believe is an altercation that was written in a negative light to portray an L, like you mentioned.
Okay. So written in a negative situation, you probably look at most of the fights in the post-time skip for that point. Luffy versus Cracker fight was written in a horribly negative light in terms of writing competency.
Okay.
Especially with the ending, just so that Luffy could win. And just go to the recent chapter, the Luffy Zoro stuff for Apu was written in a manner that ignored the strength of the characters solely to give fan service to Apu, which is disingenuous on both fronts. So that, yes.
Fan service L's.
Yes, fan service L's, as it were.
I'm coining that term.
Because a lot of that comes at the hands of not necessarily the characters, but more so the writer. But because the writer did it, it does weigh back upon the characters. And you will see many of these happen to characters like Sanji, which I won't go into because I've beaten him enough. But Oda chose extreme negative behavior towards anything Sanji related. And which is why many people actually talk about Sanji in the way that they do.
Do you believe Smoker has been highlighted in that same negative sense?
you would almost have to say yes because of the way that most of the community sees him, even if you can argue certain things in the fight like I do to portray Smoker in a more positive light. You almost certainly have to agree with, though, that some things are shown in a negative light as far as he is concerned. Yes.
Fair enough. I feel like that is the definition that most of us should go with, but in an agenda-driven community,
which one that it depends.
That it depends on the aspect. Yeah, go ahead, Virgo.
No, I'm saying I have a piggyback question after you're done. I want to hear your opinion of an L.
So my opinion of an L, and I kept it very simple. Just because one, it furthers my agenda, but an L to me is if you have an altercation with an individual and they strike you. And if you strike back after that strike, then it is more of a clash. But if they strike you, wound you, and then you don't have a response, and then you either choose to run away or you can't hit them back afterwards, I consider that an L.
Huh.
And that's how I classify these L's. So this is why I mentioned with Sanji versus VErgo, and I hate to go back to this because everyone knows my agenda is, but I'm just going to use an example. When Sanji had his leg cracked, he wasn't out of the fight. He was still fighting VErgo. The only difference is that he had to go specifically because his mission was to allow Tashigi and the G5 to escape and then escape from the poison gas. So I wouldn't consider it an L, but everyone else did. In the sense with Zoro and Apu, he just took a straight up wound and that's it. He didn't even attack Apu. He didn't even attempt to attack Apu. Like Sierra said, and like Drizzt said, fan service L. They basically just compromised the strength of Luffy and Zoro to give Apu a W. And that was it. But it's still an L. An L is an L.
Yeah. But you could also, in the same vein, say that Sanji's leg breaking was a fan service L for those that enjoyed VErgo.
I mean, I'll give you that.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I'll give you that. It highlights how strong VErgo is, and it's a negative. It's negative for Sanji because you never really thought Sanji's leg could take damage like that until VErgo. So I get that.
It highlighted how strong VErgo's hockey was. So it was a fan service L for Sanji.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to say, though, you guys are all in the community. You guys are all see all this shit all over Twitter. Let's all be real here. Has the community definitely influenced your opinions on these W's and these L's?
No.
No.
I don't.
You're a strong brother.
A lot of the shit I see in the community, I laugh off. Like it doesn't. Like I don't form to any agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like I just kind of consume One Piece the way I've always consumed One Piece. I'm slightly more critical now that I do content, but aside from that, I got like the agendas. Like I listen to theories, and I think some theories could be interesting, some not. But I still don't let that sway how I view the story. Like I won't let a theory that Kaido's son is Katakuri make me look at Katakuri every fucking time. Like, yo, you must have dragon in your blood, nigga. Hold on, like I'm not. That's never gonna be like how I look at the shit. Like I just kind of see the shit and kind of move on, laugh. Like like when I saw the Zoro kill Kaido shit. That was literally the first time I ever saw some shit and thought that someone was trolling. Like, I'm like, damn, this must be the biggest troll in One Piece I've ever seen.
That was the first time?
Yes, bro. The rest of the shit, I just feel like niggas just be trying to reach for theories to create content, which I'm not 1,000% mad at, bro. Like, do your thing, bro. If that's how you feel, if that's what you think, if that's what you came up with, given what you've given, which isn't a lot, because Oda is a man of mystery, like, do that. I'm not mad at that, but it's not going to change how I feel. When I saw that Zoro is killing Kaido shit, I was like, yo, this is the biggest troll. Y'all, wow. And it was like right before that wave of, Sanji versus Zoro shit, right? So I'm like, wait, is this real? Like once like that started going, I'm like, wait, is this real? Which is why, like, when I see that shit, I really ask people, like, yo, that's a real thing? Y'all really think that? And it's just like kind of wild.
Like,
but
I want to
ultimately,
say,
no.
I want to say that I am unfazed, but I feel like it's almost impossible for me to be unfazed. You when you hear something so much, you can either roll with it sometimes, or sometimes you can ignore it, and sometimes you just be like, you know what? Now I hate this person because you saying this so much, and I think it's so asinine. You're making me not enjoy this character, and I would be lying if I said it never happened for me.
Yeah, nah. I still love Sanji as much Sanji slander as I see. I still love Zoro as much Zoro slander I see. I still hate Apu. I still hate Apu as much fucking Apu praise I'm seeing. Like it just is what it is, dude.
I think you need to check your route.
Maybe.
Check your route. All right. So you want to move on to the next topic?
That's right.
All right. So the next topic we have, and I want to combine this since we don't have the most time yet, and we still need to do Q&A. So, question is, what are your hopes for Eustace Kid and Wano, and how do you feel about the Beast Pirates now compared to the other Yonko crews that you've seen? And then we'll start with Drizzt. Go from the opposite order.
Oh, so you want me to talk about Kid first and then the Yonko crews?
Yeah.
Hopes for Kid. I don't know. I could probably sum that up as generic hopes for someone that wants Kid to be good, or wants Kid to live up to the potential that the fandom sees in him, and that Oda kind of low key hyped him up for. As far as my confidence in that, it's shaking. I have to admit. At least in the way that I would have preferred it. Kid, power-wise, is looking similar to what people would have liked, but in terms of narrative importance and screen time, I have to admit that I'm not particularly happy with what we've gotten from Kid, considering so much has been off-screened, and then what we do get is mostly gags.
Right.
But I still think that Oda has greatness for Kid in plan. I'm just not sure what it's going to be, but I think he will deliver on it. As far as the Yonko crews are concerned, the last few chapters, as much as I bash on Oda consistently, I think that his crew has become likable, but I don't know. We haven't seen a whole lot of the Yonko crews, to be honest. Whitebeard seemed fine during Marineford. Big Mom's varied between bad and good, and so is Kaido's, but in a different way, because a lot of like the lower tier people, like headliners and such, were kind of memes. But the Toby Ropo introduction has kind of restored some faith I've seen across the board, so I like that.
Agreed, Drizzt.
Funny as hell. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know. Is it my turn?
We're gonna go to Sage and then
okay,
you next.
Oh shit! All right. Well, when it comes to Kid, I'm really hoping that we see something akin to Luffy in at least strength, and I don't need it to be like the same. I don't need Kid to go toe to toe. All I need is it to be akin to Luffy, and that's my real hopes with it. When it comes to Kaido, I'd love to see Kid and Luffy do like an open hand palm strike together while Luffy's in Gear 4 and Kid's doing some weird shit, and then they just do it together, and it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
They'd be on the same side, but not together.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely not together, or not aligned, but just kind of almost pushing each other's faces together and being like, "Why are you in my way?" while also punching the same person. It'd be cool. But my feelings on Kaido's crew are pretty positive, to be honest. After we first got introduced to them, it seems like there was just going to be lots and lots of fodder and then the calamities. And that's not been the case. We've got the numbers, we've got the Toby Ropo, we've got special smile users or something. And we've also got a really wide scale on the headliners. So they've got people like Hold'em who are kind of a bit trash, and then you've got people like Drake and Hawkins and Apu who are kind of a lot better. So overall, I feel like they're a stronger crew than Big Mums, for instance, which when we first started Wano was a bit hard to tell, and gauge. But now we're more into the swing of it. It's a bit easier to work out what's going on. So that's nice. For me, the problem I'm kind of having with Kaido's crew is like the competency. Doesn't seem to really be there as much as it was for Big Mums. Like, I know they were really incompetent in some areas, but what they did is they set everything they could set up, and then things just went wrong for them because Oda. Whereas Kaido's crew are more like just kind of halfway, like, there's a level of like the territorial sea snails, for instance. Like, we're not seeing them use the snails. We're not seeing them, you know, stay alert. Everyone's just not giving a fuck. And it's a little bit like, oh, okay.
Maybe they don't give a fuck, though, because they know how strong
they don't. They clearly don't give a fuck.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we continue on, quietly loud, thank you for coming late like I told you not to do.
I know you told me not to, but
brother quietly.
But I appreciate you pulling up, man. I really do.
No problem, my guy.
Yeah.
I'm being civilized here.
Welcome.
No, for sure, man. And we applaud that.
He
I know you and Jay have been on bad terms lately.
Jay's my guy, though.
I'm never on bad terms with Quietly.
I was being facetious, not actual bad terms.
I know what you mean. So just to continue on the questioning, because I'm pretty sure Sensei, you're up, and then Sierra, just wanted to get your thoughts. So again, Eustace Kid, what are your hopes for him in Wano? And how do you feel about the Beast Pirates now compared to the other Yonko crews that you've seen?
Oh, that's me?
No, it's okay.
Yes, Sensei.
Well, Kid is one of my favorite supernovas, so I hope that he gets shine. I feel mostly like how Drizzt feels. Like, I don't know if it's gonna really go the way I want it to, but I hope it does. Like, I like that I'm finally seeing, depending on whether or not it gets off screen, like the rest of the Kid shit. I hope I'm finally seeing him get his revenge on Apu. If that happens, I'll be somewhat satisfied. But I wanted this arc to be based on like the setup that we were getting from the end of Act 1 into Act 2, more Kid focused, if that makes sense. Or just to give us more background into his character and shit like that. And I was kind of upset that we're not getting that. I feel like we're not going to get that. Not only do I not think we're going to get that in this arc, I don't really think we're going to get that I don't think we're going to get like a Kid backstory, like we got a Law backstory or any of that type of like, you know, fleshing out of his character. I would love for that to happen. I just don't think that Oda has the type of time for that, or feels as though he has the type of time for that. So those are my thoughts. But I love Kid, and I can't wait to see him like go crazy if that happens. I would love to see even just a team up, like a team up against a commander, a team up against Kaido, anything like that. Like, I would love to see that. Obviously, I love to see him shine on his own, but just my love for him just is like, all right, cool. Like, just do anything, nigga, besides be there and be mad.
Using named attacks and shit.
As far as, yeah, exactly. Like, give me that. Like, instead of, don't just be there and be like, you stupid monkey. Like, don't do that. As far as the Yonko crew, I kind of agree with Sage. Like, I think holistically, I fuck with Big Mom's crew. Like, them niggas was really trying to keep shit together. It just wasn't because, you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't because
it's Hurricane
Oda.
Straw Hat is what I call it.
Yeah, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they for the most part kept shit together aside from Buddy, who lied about the prison shit.
Yeah.
But he died.
Yeah, and Buddy, who let sleep in Sanji bed.
Allegedly.
Bobbins and Opera.
And Buddy, who fell asleep in Sanji bed. Besides that shit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Besides that shit, I think holistically their crew is like much better. Like, they deploy armies immediately. You know what I'm saying? They got the commanders lined up for shit to, like, when shit goes south, like, niggas not leaving, like, nah, we on your ass. Whereas, like Sage was saying, with Kaido, it's kind of like we just a rambunctious group of niggas that can box. And like, I love the introduction of the Toby Ropo, and, you know, understanding that I don't want to necessarily call it a power vacuum, but that there's like, you know, more niggas that have just got beat up by Kaido that work for Kaido.
Ones, though, man.
He do. Apparently, he just got a line of niggas that was captains that, he's like, all right, well, you going to work under me, but, if you want to be better, you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's room for growth, man. There's upward mobility in this crew. No, but I like that. I like that aspect of his crew much more than I do Big Mom's crew. Just because I can see there's so many possibilities again that I don't think Oda's going to expound on. Just because I don't think he thinks he has the type of time. There's so many possibilities for shit to just be crazy, like niggas fighting each other, like. A switch in the power, like a power switch in the middle of a war. Like it's so much crazy shit that could happen that won't happen. That makes me like Kaido's crew. So yeah.
Well said, bro. Well said. Sierra?
No, it wasn't me.
No, I'm.
You're he's asking if you want to go next.
I thought you were talking about the
she was
noise.
so quick to deny the blame. So I ain't do that shit.
I didn't do it.
No, I have the same feels. I want I want to see him be great. I don't want him to fall into like the Straw Hat pace, kind of like how Law did, because Law's almost become like background. When I love Law, but now it's like Law. He's with the Straw Hat, so he's like he's like in their pace now. I don't want that to happen to Kid. I still want him to be his own the rival to Luffy. Like I want to see him be the rival. I want to see them work together. That would be cool. Like how Sage said, like not reluctantly working together. Mm-hmm. So I want to see that, and I want to see Kid be great. I feel like all the supernovas have had a moment, and Kid's had a few, but nothing really that stands out. So he really needs it.
I agree.
That's what I hope for Kid. And in regards to the crew, my favorite crew, it's a little biased, but I do love Whitebeard's crew and like the family aspect of it, because they were fighting for Whitebeard, because it's like you're fighting for your family, Big Mom, they are family, but they're fighting out of fear, basically, of Big Mom, and controlled by that. Dynamic. Yeah, and then like Kaido's crew, they're fighting basically for strength or whatever.
Bro, whatever. A bunch of niggas that can box.
So I do love Whitebeard's crew more, but it could be a bias too, because I just love Whitebeard. So
as you should.
Yes, and Blackbeard, I don't even know what their agenda is. So with his crew, who knows?
Yo, that's so funny you said that, Sierra. I hella like my mindset for what Blackbeard's crew is what Kaido's crew is.
Just a bunch of niggas.
Just a bunch of niggas.
But it could be deeper. Like it could be some shit we're not expecting. I don't know what to expect with him.
Well, I think it's one of my high hopes is that Blackbeard's crew and the motivations for them joining Blackbeard. I mean, we kind of know already, but I want to see them add some characterization of Blackbeard when we get their reasonings for like following Blackbeard. I feel like that would be really nice to see.
A Blackbeard backstory would hit very differently.
Now, before we get to the toxic topic of the week, and before we get to the Q&A question, quietly, I just want to ask you a few questions. I feel like it'll only be fair. Quietly, what do you consider as an L?
A loss. Like actually losing. That's the only thing that's an L. Getting hit is not an L. Getting wounded, to me, is not an L. Okay. And it depends on how they lose, and honestly, to make it an L. Like, to me, Zoro would take an L when he loses to another swordsman, or if he gets his swords broken by another swordsman, then I'll classify that as an L. Until then, that's the only way.
So quietly, would you argue that Zoro took an L to that nigga who rusted up his sword in his lobby?
That's a little technical because he used a
wow. He set him up. Yeah, that's it. That's payback. Yeah, quietly, I got you. Quietly, I got you. I got you for Twitter. I got you for Twitter. That's payback.
Quietly attacked you on Twitter. He was like, no, he actually can.
That's payback. That's payback. I got mine.
He actually can, but the thing is that dude is not a swordsman.
And
so to me, it's not an L.
But did you not just say if he got his sword broken, that would be an L?
I said if he got his sword broken by another swordsman.
I'm sorry.
That's the only way. Right. On top of it, he took his swords, but he didn't lose. He didn't lose to that dude.
Why does it have to involve
even with even with like him and Killer, he won. He knocked Killer out first, so he won that fight.
But why does it have
it's
to
literally
involve
that's
swords?
simple to me, because he's a swordsman. That's his main that's his main thing of fighting.
If Kaido knocks him out and Harlem shakes on his body,
but I doubt that's gonna happen.
Oh wait, quietly, you think Zoro killing Kaido?
Whoa, Sensei. Let's not get into the.
All right, I got you.
Into the far left crazy.
I got you, King.
But far left. The thing is that he really doesn't take too many L's. It's just like I don't know. I guess it's to the point where people want him to lose, and it's halfway because of the fan. It's halfway because of the fandom, because of us, which is cool. But bro, he really doesn't take. Like, he doesn't take L's. It just doesn't happen. But he just doesn't take L's.
Oh my god!
Even in that last chapter, I really don't see how.
I really feel like that's bait.
Getting
underpants on.
Getting attacked is an L. I just don't see it.
No, shout out to both Nara in the chat, my man.
I'm glad you're here quietly. All right, so
I don't see it.
This is more of a free for all, guys. We won't take too long on this, but this is the toxic topic of the week.
Top.
Do you think that Zoro could beat Sanji without any swords?
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Oh shit! No. No, he's not beating Sanji.
Absolutely not.
Yes, he is. First off, if we're gonna take away his swords,
no.
That's not the question.
Yes,
that's not the question.
Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it.
You want me to take away Sanji's kneecaps?
We taking away his legs. If we're gonna take away Zoro's swords, then we take away Sanji's legs.
That's ridiculous because Zoro has one sword style, no sword style. That's ridiculous.
Yes, that's what Zoro still has
a
point.
No.
That is
exactly
the
still has the point.
I love the toxicity.
Talk to this nigga, bro.
One at a time.
No ankle style, bro.
That is literally the point. Because he has no sword style, he can fight without his main weapons. He is going to win. Is that cut and dry?
Then why do you keep on trying to take away Sanji's fucking
But that's what I'm saying.
That is his weapons, fam. That's not my fault. Like that.
So let me destroy your argument. So Zoro,
please attempt to do it.
So when Zoro used,
because you still,
wait, hold on.
Because you still
let him talk.
So you're gonna let me talk?
He hasn't answered yet. He hasn't answered if a nigga can kick without legs. Like I haven't heard the answer to this yet.
So I just want to let you know. Okay.
Somebody please answer. Just anybody. Can a nigga kick without legs?
I'm glad this is the toxic topic because I expected this. It's
actually
hey, like the stream, niggas.
It's actually
no. Hey, fuck this. This is ridiculous.
It's impossible.
So quietly, when Zoro used the no sword style, did he not call out the name of the attack as if it was part of his arsenal to begin with?
What do you mean?
So when he said Zoro has 3 sword style, 2 sword style, 1 sword style, no sword style, that's all part of his initial arsenal, right?
Not initial, but he learned no sword style over, I guess. I don't know if it's a time skip because he used it in the movies too.
So I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna repeat what I just said. 3 sword style, 2 sword style, 1 sword style, no sword style. That sounds like all arts that he's trained over an extended period of time. Am I wrong?
I don't know about the last one, but yeah, most of them, yes.
Oh, so you don't know about the last one, even though it's no sword style and it's a named attack.
I mean, that doesn't mean he wasn't using it at the beginning of the series. He literally started using it post series and in movies.
So he used it in the Davy back fight. So that's not post series. So you lost again. So what I want you to understand. I'm not done yet though. So what you said is that Zoro has to lose his main style of fighting.
Yes,
and Sanji does too. But part of his main style of fighting is no sword style. So my point is, unless Zoro is actually boxing,
right there. You're literally wrong right there.
If Zoro is not throwing fists, he's not using his main style. Look, I don't want to see cutting. I don't want to see cutting from Zoro.
No, wrong.
I don't want to see any cutting from any attempt. I don't want to see a Tatsumaki. I don't want to see nothing.
That's not how this works.
But it is how it works.
I'm upset because quietly wants to take away Sanji's legs like he's wearing fucking prosthetics.
That's his weapon, fam. We got law, room, no legs. That's it.
So no sword style is not a weapon.
No sword style is not a weapon, fam. It's not a weapon. He's not using a weapon, Jay. He is not using a weapon. You're not about to get that one off.
Take away Sanji's legs when that's part of his fighting technique.
We taking away Zoro's swords, and that's a part of his fighting. That's a part of his fighting.
Yeah. They're not attached to him.
He is a true swordsman. They are extensions of his body.
Oh my god, you delusional.
Okay, if they're extensions of his body, then why the hell did he let some Tontadas take that shit away from him?
You can lose things. You can lose things and get them back.
I think Sanji will win,
you can't just lose your legs and get them back, nigga. That's the point.
It'll be closer than
yes, you
okay,
can.
I have a scenario though. So what? Remember back in Enya's lobby, Sanji had those like knives.
Ooh.
How's he doing?
Ooh.
Okay. No legs, Sanji.
No, he has his legs.
No legs,
oh my
Sanji,
God.
Can he have?
Does not have his legs.
So can he have peg legs? Can he have peg legs?
No peg.
I'm just saying, give Sanji knives and Zoro can keep his sword.
Pegged, all right.
So he's getting
wait. How about he only has? Wait. Well, how about he only has one leg?
Wait, no. I like that. She said, give him his knives. She said, give him his knives, and Zoro keeps his sword. But
he only used knives against food. So he'll lose immediately.
This is what if.
He's 100%.
I'll only agree
He hates Zoro. I'm sure he'd use him on him.
He's 100% losing that one. Knives versus Zoro, the master swordsman. Come on, let's be real. Jay, relax.
He's got knives and his kicks.
You know that's not
true. Jay did say this would be toxic.
So listen, Kwame, I just want to tell you something. So Sanji's been nerving himself for the entire series.
No,
yes, he has, because you saw how skilled he was with a knife, and he's a cook. A knife is an extension of himself. When he is fighting, he showed it. So therefore, if Sanji used knives with Diablo Jambe, he's clapping Zoro off screen. That's all I'm saying.
He's 100% never clapping Zoro ever. It just will
yes,
never
he
happen.
is. I promise you.
Sanji, I feel like that'd be a good fight, though.
Exactly.
I think it would be a good fight, but
like a tough fight.
I think that would be mid-diff with Zoro winning. Wow. And you know what? To make it fair, I'm gonna take away one of Zoro's swords. That's just to keep it too.
Why is this like a monopoly trade? What is going on?
This is cap.
I just don't understand how quietly think that it's okay to take away someone's literal flight.
Somebody actually disliked the stream. Funny as hell.
I told him to.
I didn't even blame them.
I'm glad they did. But honestly, quietly, I just want to let you know again. No sword style is part of Zoro's arsenal and his toolkit.
But it's not a weapon. But he's not using it.
But it's part of his style, bro.
So if we take away all of the sword styles of Zoro, you can take away Sanji's legs.
Okay, then Zoro's beating this nigga into the ground. What he
with his feet? You gotta take away his hands.
What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
He's gonna punch. He's gonna punch.
Can't use his arms.
So wait. Are we saying Zoro with no arms?
If he can't lose his arms, he will headbutt the shit out of Sanji.
Zoro with no arms against Sanji with no legs.
So quietly, I just
what the fuck are we talking about? All right, what are we even talking about?
Well,
I knew it was gonna be toxic, but this
because for one, Zoro still got his mouth. So I'm saying,
pause.
No, I'm not pausing that. I'm not pausing. How about that one?
I'm not pausing it.
You just want to see. You want to see Zoro bite Sanji.
I mean, that grip got to be something crazy.
He gonna bite his leg, bro.
This is
he doesn't have the legs, Sensei. He doesn't have the legs.
He's gonna bite his nubs.
He gonna bite the knife.
So quietly, I just want you to ask, how is it fair? I want you to imagine a floating Sanji without the lower half of his torso.
He's not Sanji with no legs with Skywalker.
He's not floating.
He got the bubble from Fish Island.
Whoa. Didn't Kitty Mon lose his legs? Y'all acting like this can't really happen. He can lose his legs, fam. This is easy. And then he can get him stitched back on. We got Leo and Law.
Time traveled in One Piece. Don't act like things are normal.
Quietly, you I don't know what you're doing, bro.
You introduced the topic.
I did.
This is your topic.
The reason
they thought this was going to be an easy. They thought it was going to be an easy dub.
It was an easy W. It was an easy W.
It's not.
I've quoted you 3 times.
It's not going to be one.
Quietly, you're on your own. Nobody agrees with you.
I will die on this hill
nobody
alone.
agrees with this.
Nobody.
I don't even know what the question was.
It was literally.
No, we've changed the question 17 times.
The question has been a little bit swayed.
So, Drizzt, the original question is can Zoro...
Zoro with no swords versus Sanji?
With no legs.
That wasn't the original question. That wasn't the original
I'm not letting
question.
y'all do this.
Quietly. Let me just explain something to you real quick here, because they posed a question just so you would have to admit that Zoro would lose. That's literally it. They weren't trying to make it fair.
Zoro would not lose.
No,
So
what they're saying
legs
is
makes
they're
it
not
fair?
saying the legs. They're just saying a full health Sanji versus no sword Zoro.
Zoro's still
No restrictions on. Oh my god!
You see what I'm saying?
And he will never
He's winning
answer
that.
it. He just goes,
He is
can I
still
take away
winning
his
that.
toes? Can I take away
Quietly,
his
you're
ankle?
sitting here
Can I
and
take away his knees?
you're sitting here and saying that
Yeah,
Zoro with
you going
no
outside,
weapons
G.
except for his hands and no sword style is beating a non-nerf Sanji.
You
He
going
has
outside,
everything that he can use.
Fuck Sanji.
Zoro's
How about
beating.
that? How about that? To anybody watching, this is how you stand a character. This is how you stand.
Hey,
This is how you do it.
I admire.
This is how you stand a character.
Quietly
I
loud,
admire,
bro.
bro.
You have been my homie for a long time, and this
You
today
going
is
out
one of the
so
wildest
sad.
takes you've ever had.
This is how you stand. We will never admit defeat. Ever.
So I just want everybody to know and take note.
I ain't at that level.
This nigga is the reason why I am the way I am. I just want you to understand.
Also, quietly started SP0 versus CP2.
No, quietly is one of the factors of why I became this way. That's all I want you to know.
This is diabolical.
Quietly is the textbook Zoro stand, and so this is what I've been fighting.
Textbook, no.
Quietly didn't used to be like this. This is a new level.
Bro, he got the wait. Yeah, no, this nigga masterclass Zoro fan. Fuck
You did not
that.
used to be this way, bro. Oh man.
It's the only way to be.
What's the next topic, y'all?
He said, "I'm tired."
Hey, hold on, bro. Let me read some of these donations, bro.
Yeah, now it's Q&A and donations. So go ahead, bro.
Donations, bro. Page one said, "Love the content, $2." Then right after that, he said, "Hold up, I screenshot it so I didn't lose it." Give me one moment. Never mind, I lost it. No, I'm kidding. He said, $5. He said, my ranking: Luffy, then Kid, then Law, then Zoro, then Aruj, then Drake, then Apu, then Killer, then Bonnie, then Beige.
Oh dear.
I asked the question, where is Hawkins?
That's Cap.
Yeah.
I said, where's Hawkins? He said, another $5 donation. Dude, Hawkins is so trash, I forgot him. But I would put him after Apu and before Killer.
That's Cap.
Hawkins is great.
I love
Hawkins is not trash.
Not as a fighter, he's not.
And
good.
Sensei, my man Sensei Inc. said, I'm excited that you guys are back. One of my favorite parts of YouTube. I did miss doing these. Love y'all. Also taking away Sanji's legs, parentheses, a part of his body is ridiculous. Stop that, dog.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna be ridiculous. How about that? If you're gonna take away one person's weapons, I'm taking away the other person's weapons. That's his weapons. His legs is his weapons. That's how it is. I'm sorry.
No one said it was an equal fight.
Bro, what if somebody fought what they did?
Oh man.
Well, you know what? Then we got Law, like I said.
Damn.
Yo,
Law just gotta be there.
he's gonna amputate everybody, huh?
Q Law. That's
quietly.
This is why Sanji was a bitch in Whole Cake Island, because my hands, fam. You could get more hands, fam. We got Leo, we got Law.
Oh my God! Stop!
Easily get some more hands, and he didn't want to do it.
Yo, there is 7 dislikes on this stream.
Bro, it was 8. Somebody took
Keep
one.
them coming.
I got somebody.
Keep them
somebody
coming.
out there.
I respect all dislikes.
But there's 146 people and only 73 likes.
That's right, exactly. We need 140 dislikes.
So, Virgo, we got a question: Zoro or Law? Who's better?
Better
Law.
what?
Wait,
That's a good question.
Hey, what way?
So let's do it in categories. Who's
For
a better
story,
character?
Zoro.
Law.
Strength, Law.
Thank you, Virgo.
That's Cap.
The first factual thing you said all day. All
Drizzt?
week, actually.
Yeah, by far. I mean, I Law's in my top 10 from what he was in Dressrosa. Maybe not so much anymore, but yeah, definitely Zoro. Definitely Zoro as a better character. Strength-wise, I choose Law.
No,
what?
No,
really?
Strength-wise, Law.
Wait, Drizzt, are you trolling? You serious? Shit?
Have I trolled once in the stream?
No.
No, he hasn't.
Seriously?
Actually.
Wow.
I have not trolled an answer.
What makes Zoro a better character than Law?
Have you not read One Piece?
Yeah, B. Read it that week or whenever it come out.
No, I think he meant strength. I think he said.
I thought we were talking about like
yeah. Drizzt, if I'm not misquoting you, you said Law was stronger than Zoro.
Yeah, I would choose if in a fight. I would choose Law.
As of right
now, that's going to change.
I didn't know the question. I'm sorry.
As of right now, I choose Law. Yeah, as a stronger fighter.
The Duce.
The Duce.
It's too late to be drinking Duce, man. What about you? What about your macros, my guy?
My who?
Your macros.
I'm bald, bro. What you mean?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Dog said, wow.
No,
said, huh? Macro. Nigga quietly, bro. What about your macro?
He just killed my shit.
No, I'm fucking with you, G. I'm fucking with you. No, I really just don't give a shit. So
All right. Looks like we're not really getting many questions. A lot of people are just kind of wilding and reacting. So, final thoughts and everyone. So let's go. Let's start with the newbies. So, Sierra, any final thoughts for the stream?
Just on anything.
Anything you want to talk about.
Really well. I'm on the spot, so I don't know. I really liked it. Who you guys got? Raid Suit Sanji versus Zoro, swords and all.
Zoro.
Shit.
Raid Suit Sanji.
I'm gonna go Zoro. Reluctantly hate to say it with quietly here.
Thank you. Now you making sense. You're doing well.
I think Zoro.
I think
excuse me.
Just for the sake.
Who else said Zoro? See, are you also said Zoro?
I did.
Yeah, I think Zoro.
I don't like this nigga, bro.
Quietly,
let's go. It sounded real good. It sounded real factual.
Just for the sake of my agenda, I'm picking Raid Suit Sanji Extreme Diff. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You said extreme diff is like 50-50.
You just admitted to not believing what you just said.
Exactly.
That's fine. I'm just saying Sanji has a chance to win. That's all I'm saying.
But
I mean, anybody got a chance to win.
I love slandering both of them, but I thought we were gonna power.
Can Zoro move at light speed?
Nigga,
I rest my case.
He's dodged bullets point blank.
Oh yes, turn that up.
Oh my bad.
wow.
That wasn't intentional.
He's playing the berserk theme.
He's playing Guts theme, baby. Let's go.
Ridiculous.
That's the best thing I heard all stream.
But now I'm taking Sanji Extreme Dip.
That's so
Drizzt, I know
Zoro is the weakest supernova. Cap.
Who you taking, Drizzt?
Yeah, I'm taking Zoro.
Not the weakest supernova.
As long as they both have received the power up, there's no reason not to take Zoro ever.
Fair enough. Sage.
What?
Yo, Sage died a long time ago. Geez.
No,
Ray,
what time is it now? 5?
Yeah, I mean we're basically at the end of the show, so
I know. Sierra, I'm so bad.
Sierra asked the question: Raid Suit Sanji versus Zoro.
Swords and everything.
Sage.
Wait, what?
What? Me?
Yeah, you.
You didn't say Sage. You said
he literally said Sage
3 times actually.
Yeah, I did.
I thought you said. Okay, well, it's Zoro, but like I don't want to say it because of quietly. And I hate Zoro. You don't understand. Like I remember when I first joined the community and I really liked Zoro, and then I started talking to people about Zoro, and I felt so disgusted by what I liked about him that I stopped liking him. Like I fell completely out of love with the character, and like.
Makes sense.
That's what happened with me and Sanji, honestly. I thought he was okay.
Wow, you see what I mean? This is why
you hear this nigga said he
get out. I started talking to people sounded like seriously.
I'm not gonna let you finish.
The community made turned me into
the community. Yo, this nigga quietly stickins me, bro. Yo, nah, nigga. No.
Turned me into this monster. Once I started talking to people and they actually believe that Sanji can beat Zoro,
and you gotta stop talking to those people.
In what mind does anyone believe Sanji can beat Zoro?
It's a lot of people that think that.
It's some people that think that.
Well, they're wrong.
I agree.
You just said that.
I was trolling.
He said for the sake of his agenda.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, be quiet before you get clipped, Jay.
What happened?
Agenda.
Clipped. All I said is I always preface my art. What did I say?
He said, "I already got it."
Well, what did I say? I don't understand.
You said, "Who in their mind thinks Sanji's beating Zoro?"
Okay, I've said that on the TL. That's not okay. Go ahead, clip it. My point is that
clip it because I'm not that kind of guy.
My point is that I always preface with the fact that I never ever believed at one point in time that Sanji was ever over Zoro in terms of strength. Ever. I've never said that. Ever. I'll troll, but I'm never serious.
And you always keep it a buck, and that's why I appreciate you.
And that's my point.
And that's why we preface.
And my other dislike just came from the events of Whole Cake Island, but I am waiting for the Wano redemption. My own personal, redemption. I know Luffy. Deadass. I know Luffy forgave him and shit, but I just feel like him fucking Luffy up really was like the icing on the cake for me. That made me, because like while I was reading those chapters, I was looking forward to the meetup between Sanji and Luffy. I was so hyped.
Bro, you didn't like that?
Luffy, no, I'm saying I was so hyped. So when Luffy actually jumped on the carriage to try to save him, and he kicked Luffy off the carriage. And then
you talking about that meetup?
Yeah, that really.
But did you not? I know. But did you not like the? Did you not like the? I need help and I want to go back to the sun. Did you not like that moment?
I actually didn't like that.
I love that, bro. That was one of the. That was one of the best
But this is the thing. This is the thing.
I've seen in One Piece in a while.
My man's is looking like a little hoe outside in the rain trying to write a cigarette in the rain. That's just the straightest hoest thing I ever
seen. Okay, what did that have to do with the?
That shit was hilarious. And then. No. I'm going to be petty because he should. It's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous to do that, Sam. This is the captain.
We're trying to have a dialogue.
Luffy has risked his life to save the crew so many times. Sanji in Water 7, when Robin left, he was the first one to go after her because he knows that's what the Straw Hats are about. So to act like you're going to leave and not think that your crew is going to follow you, he basically put them in ridiculous kind of danger. He knew Luffy was going. He should have, even if he didn't know, he should have known Luffy was not just going to leave. Valuable member of the crew like that to go into a Yonko's territory. And then when he comes to actually save you, people always talk about how Sanji's so smart and so cunning. While he was fighting Luffy, he didn't actually have to really fuck him up the way he did. He could have act like he was fighting him, gave him a plan, tried to do anything. Sanji resolved himself to throw away him and Zeph's dream and to live on Whole Cake Island happily. It wasn't until he found out that Puddin was going to kill him and his family that he decided to go back. That's whole shit. Like, no, you don't never give up on, you never betray the family, fam. I like this loyalty like that is not cool. I don't care what the repercussions could be.
A lot of what you said is cap. I'm gonna tell you why.
No,
because
it's really not cap.
It is cap because you're using the Robin example as to compare that Sanji should know better, when in a sense, Robin was only sacrificing herself for the crew alone. With Sanji, it wasn't just the crew, it was his own father. It was Zeph.
That makes it even worse.
No, it doesn't make it worse, because what you have to understand is, and I'll bring this up again, based on Sanji's backstory, the only thing that really saved Sanji, the person who saved Sanji's life, literally, mentally, emotionally, is Zeph.
Yes,
you cannot expect. Listen, you listen, but quietly.
Gave his leg so that Sanji survived.
I understand that, but you have to understand. People have reverence. People have reverence and respect for the only
major thing in One Piece is passing on dreams in the will of man. He passed on his dream of the all blue to Sanji, and Sanji in Whole Cake Island said, "My journey ends here. Marry me, Pudding Chan." That's unacceptable. The "my journey ends here" part is he should have never given up. Even if he should have never given up.
Sanji's dream, and I want to mention this: Sanji's dream has never been the driving force of his character.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the driving force, but the fact that Zeph gave him.
So why do you bring up the dream as a big point?
Because it's never been the driving force. It's too much weight to give up like that. It's just.
It's not though, because Zeph means more to Sanji than his dream, and I can.
But also doing that, in so doing that, Zeph would have not appreciated that. He wouldn't have liked.
Okay, but it's not about what Zeph appreciates. It's about what Sanji feels in the moment. And
that was also part of the.
Sanji said, "I want to save Zeph and my crew," so he chose the best option is to save Zeph and his crew.
That wasn't the best. That wasn't the best option.
In his mind, it was the best option, and you can't refute somebody for their own perception of what they believe is the best option, because we're humans, and that's what we do. No one thinks critically in an emotional state. Nobody does. I guarantee you, nobody in a moment where you are left with an ultimatum where you have to pick between the life of your family and your crew, or going along with their wishes. You cannot criticize them for picking the safety of my crew and my family. You criticizing them
you trust in the crew. You trust.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't, because you're presented with an ultimatum, and you know
Hello? Hello? Oh no. Woo. No, it didn't go out just now. Oh man. Yo, can y'all hear me? Can any of y'all hear me? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right, trying to fix this as fast as I can. Not sure what the hell just happened. Oh my god. I'll bring him back. I'll bring him back. I'll bring him back. Calm down. Ah, no. Oh my goodness. Oh, how embarrassing. Not really.
We can.
Can y'all hear
me? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'll put it to you guys. Yo,
Huh?
What's going on, though?
Yo, what's good, bro? I'm sorry, dude. You and Quietly were getting heated, man. That hockey class might have got to it.
I'm gonna send you guys the new link. I'm still in the other hangouts, by the way, so they can all hear me talking to you. mean, me and Quiley got in a.
Yeah, him and Quiley got in a.
Give me the link. Give me the link. Give me the link. Give me the link.
A hockey clash.
Give me the link, Jay.
Oh, part of it cut off. Okay.
Never mind. Everybody's here, Jay.
Everyone's here.
Quiley's here.
Coming back, bro.
No, but like Sage and Sierra. What about that?
I sent them the links.
Wait. Oh yeah, no. Sage and Sierra are still here. Okay. So Sierra, did you get the link?
I sent both of them the links.
Yeah, VErgo said he sent it to you.
There we go.
In Twitter, yeah.
There we go.
There. And Sage, where are you?
Light skin the goat.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. I got here, man. That might have been a conqueror clash right there.
That was great.
I wish you sent Drizzt the link. What's going on, man?
Lord Drizzt?
There he is. All right, I got you, Drizzt. All right.
We were knocked out by the hockey clash.
I mean, that's what it was. I think we started foaming at the mouth.
I was listening.
Nah, it got to a point when it was just literally me and Quiley yelling.
But y'all was at like 2 different points of the whole like shit. It was crazy.
I feel like y'all were very much not on the same page.
Don't worry, I ended the conversation for them.
Listen, man, I'll fight about whole cake all day.
Later date.
You know what, Quiley? I'm actually just gonna have to host a stream. Me and you, bro. Just me and you. Nobody else.
Y'all two just throwing blows.
Yes, Quiley versus Jay.
Yeah, we're throwing blows.
The Rumble in the Jungle.
You did have the super chat.
You did have a super chat, by the way.
What was the super chat?
I don't even remember.
It was
that sounded helpful.
I remember. I see it.
Will be niggas.
It was from page 1. Yeah. So it says, my ranking was based on strength, and I honestly like his character design, but it pisses me off how he always just follows his tarot cards.
Oh, Hawkins?
And avoids fighting.
Tarot.
His tarot cards?
Tarot cards, or tarot.
Tarot.
The
last T is silent.
There it is.
It's silent.
All right, well, niggas can't read. Also, can you guys rank the Toby Ropo? Well,
how?
Rank the Toby Ropo? We don't know anything about him.
I like who's who though. We talking designs.
Who's who in Sasaki?
My favorite design is
I'm not rocking Sasaki like everybody else. I'm not really rocking Sasaki like that, but I like who's who in page 1 and
Black Maria look fire.
Who's is my favorite?
She's all right.
She's a big bitch with swords as fucking hairpins.
She a baddie. Yeah, she a baddie.
I love it.
Whoa there, guys. Getting a little ahead of yourselves.
Is she not?
Kidding.
Getting ahead of ourselves, yeah.
Virgo, you lagging again.
She's alright.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's time we just end it till I figure
it's about
Yeah, that's about it. I think it's time.
Like the stream.
Wait, everybody a shout out here though, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, real quick. Subscription.
Yo, obviously, shout out to my Henny cool brother JD. That's the homie. You already know to subscribe.